my favorite bully of modern times is probably Liz Lemon from 30 Rock. There's this awesome episode where Liz and Jack go back to her high school for her reunion, and she doesn't want to go back because in her head she was like picked on by the popular girls. And then we see a flashback of her actually in high school, and it's a popular girl that comes up to her, is like, "Hi, Liz," and she's like, "Hi, Stacy, how's your mom's pill addiction?" And I kind of think that really encompasses the fact that no one remembers themselves as clearly as they think when it comes to their high school lives. Hi, my name is Ben Philippe, and I'm the author of The Field Guide to the North American Teenager. One of the things that happens to everybody stepping into high school is that they begin to put labels on everything. Putting labels on things makes the world smaller, sort of like easier to digest. Norris Kaplan, the protagonist of Field Guide, is very good at that, at sort of immediately seeing someone and boiling them down to a single word. Jock, cheerleader, loner, bro. He has very specific expectations of how people are going to act, and that way he can protect himself around them. You know, the fact is, the one label that you aren't in control of is how you appear to the world. So let's break down 5 kinds of people you might encounter at any given American high school, and that you'll definitely see in my book, Field Guide to the North American Teenager. One of the categories of teenagers that we meet in my book is the loner. The main character, in fact, Norris Kaplan, by the fact that he's sort of a transfer from a Quebec French high school and arrives in the middle of the semester, ends up being a loner. I feel like in the media, the loner is always the guy with the trench coat or the geek who's getting picked on. And with the character of Norris Kaplan, I wanted to write someone who chooses to be alone because they think that's what they want. I think a lot of people who live lonely lives or compartmentalized lives sort of think they're safer that way. So you're just doing your own thing, no one's paying attention to you, you're living your life. And that's the definition of loner I went by in this case. He also meets another character who is not a loner by choice, Liam. And Liam is a loner because no one at the school seems to want to talk or interact with him. And I can't tell you why, so you have to read the book. Since Norris is moving to Austin, Texas, naturally, football becomes a huge part of his life, which he hates because he's from the north, and it's either hockey or sleeping up there. And we meet a lot of jocks, a lot of cheerleaders in the story, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions about jocks and cheerleaders is that A, they're mean, horrible people, and that B, their lives turn out horrible. That's like the big myth we have, like, oh, all the football players, all the quarterbacks, they're all gonna become like car salesmen and be really unhappy. No, they are really hardworking, they're really social people, they're really nice people. A lot of the jocks I still know from high school ended up living great lives, like going to med school, doing great things. And in the Field Guide to the North American Teenager, I wanted to introduce some specific cheerleaders and jocks that end up confronting that assumption that they're going to be horrible people. And actually, if we look at TV shows like Glee, jocks have grown and been given like inner life. So it's no longer the state that makes you a bully and an aggressive person that's gonna try to tackle Rudy for absolutely no reason. The jocks on Glee all end up, performing for sectionals at the end and having their own artistic pursuits and inner lives. And I think that's closer to just real human beings. So that's why I wanted to really sort of include that type of people in my book. The bully. I think that's the one, right? When we think of high school, whatever conception of high school you have in your head, there's always someone in there that was a bully that you considered to be the plight of your existence. I've found, now that I'm very, very old, that most people don't remember themselves too well from high school. So people who thought, I was really, really popular. Everybody liked me. And you go back to their high school and they're like, no, everybody was scared of you because you were really, really mean and cruel. And I think there are new permutations of the bully out there that have been sort of popularized by the media. It's okay if you didn't date in high school. I didn't date a lot in high school at all. But one of the common factors to every high school in America really are the couples. Like those people, the he and she t-shirts, or the he and he, or she and she. All the t-shirts are annoying. Stop with the t-shirts. But really, there are people that just define themselves by their relationships in high school. And I remember very much wanting to be a part of that, wanting to bridge that gap into the world of dating. And Norris, because he meets who he thinks is the love of his life right away, is one character who's very much trying to jump into the world of dating. Until you actually start dating people, you don't know how to do it. If you just have to invite them to a movie or a restaurant, or is it a restaurant before the movie before the restaurant? It's all sort of pulled from pop culture, how you make this weird event happen. And that's a struggle that Norris deals with. Norris comes into this high school that he doesn't know, and his first instinct is to write off basically all the potential guy friends that he could make as bros, sort of just like monosyllabic guys that have nothing to say and nothing to contribute to him. And I feel like that's the definition of bro that I know of, like people who just are putting up a wall, putting up some barriers between themselves and the world. Everything is just head nods and like, yeah, sniffs, cool, like those sorts of boring conversations. Even though we're not the same at all, Norris and I are both talkers. We just like vomit all our feelings. And eventually, through the course of the book, Norris realizes that those bros have an inner life, you know? There's the bro runs deep, to steal a sentence someone just gave me now, and that there's, you know, a core to these people that actually makes them potential friends. And he ends up making 3, I would argue, really close friends over the course of the book.